For today's video, we are going to be discussing S-LOG3. Why is it praised so much by so many creators? Is it really the best picture profile out there? Is it best suited for vlogging or maybe client work? But before we can answer these questions, we got to unpack some things. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I know I've been gone for a minute. Life caught up to me, but all is well. I'm back in my routine and most importantly, back to making videos. So thank you all for checking up on me. I really appreciate that. So, S-LOG3. Why would anybody want to vlog in S-LOG3? I mean, first of all, the picture profile is flat. It's super difficult to expose for. Don't even get me started on color grading. And the picture out of camera shows little to no detail. So you're not even sure if your image is gonna come out the way you want it. So why would anybody want to bother with it in the first place? To get a better idea of what S-LOG3 is, we need to back up and figure out exactly what log is in general when it comes to cameras and picture profiles. Log is a picture profile that's used to get the most dynamic range out of your camera. Heard that before? I know you have. If you haven't, you're gonna hear it at some point in time. Trust me. If you're into cameras or in YouTube a lot, you're gonna hear dynamic range and details. I don't know why everybody says it, but yeah, that's a thing. I never knew exactly what dynamic range was. I kept hearing it, but what are they talking about? Dynamic range is the difference in levels of light between the darkest and lightest areas of your footage. Now, if I'm being honest, even reading that, it's still confusing to me. So I wanted to provide you with some footage to help you better understand and give you a visual of exactly what that even means. Okay, so on the left we have the standard picture profile and on the right we have S-LOG3. As we said before, the difference in levels of light between the brightest and darkest areas is what dynamic range is. So if you look in the area where the blinds are, mainly where the sun is coming in, the standard picture profile, you see the highlights are super blown out. Now in post, trying to recover this information, it's going to be pretty difficult. You may be able to darken the image a little bit, but the highlights are blown out, and that's really how you're just going to have to deal with it. Whereas with the image on the right, S-LOG3, all that information is still there. You can still see the shadows from the blinds, and the sun isn't completely blowing out that area. So this is what they're talking about when they say dynamic range. Highlights, super dark areas, super bright areas. Usually in other picture profiles, these areas, it's gone. They're either blown out or they're just way too dark to recover. Where S-LOG3, it saves a lot of that information and you can definitely do something with it in post. Again, you gotta be exposed properly, but 9 times out of 10, S-LOG3 is gonna save it. So now we have a better idea of why shooting in log is important when it comes to saving details. That's one of the main advantages. That gives you the most room to color edit and make it your own specific footage. The second, most people probably don't think about, but it's coloring. In post, when you're coloring log, it's different from any other footage. Again, you slap a standard profile on something, it just doesn't look how you want it to. You have no room for creativity and making those colors or that image or how you want the footage to look your own. Whereas S-LOG3 or other log profiles, they give you a lot of flexibility. Again, S-LOG3, it's the flattest picture profile. Also, S-LOG3 is great for LUTs. Now, I'm not a big fan of LUTs. I like color grading myself in post, and it helps me learn more than just slapping a LUT on there. But lately, I've been using LUTs. This video, for example, I'm using a LUT. Slapped it on, didn't touch any of the coloring, just slapped on the LUT, good to go. So if you ask me personally what I think S-LOG3 is for, well, it's not that it's supposed to be used for anything, but if you ask me, I think it would be best suited for client work. Usually when you're dealing with client work, you're in a controlled environment. You have an idea of what type of lighting you're gonna be dealing with, and the scene and the footage that you're gonna be getting, you know what you're walking into. Whereas if you're just vlogging with S-LOG3, I don't know. It may be a little more difficult dealing with the exposure, especially if you're outside. Now, if you got an ND filter on and you want to mess with your ND filter here and there, that's fine. Me personally, I don't like to keep changing my exposure and messing with the aperture too much just to get the footage right. I'm kind of a, just run and gun type of person. I don't want to be messing with the lens or the exposure too much, where that might be a problem if you're in S-LOG3. So I hope this video answered a lot of questions when it comes to S-LOG3 or just log footage in general. Again, S-LOG3 is, I wouldn't say the best picture profile, but it does have its advantages over practically any other picture profile if you know what you're doing. But again, practice makes perfect. You work enough with it, you use it enough, you'll be there in no time. Thanks again for watching this video, guys. I appreciate you. Like and subscribe. See you next one. God bless.